Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new EX Unbound Yuuki, the Academy Luminary. And his alt is certainly very bright. But he is the second of three banners for the Sparkle of Youth meta with the new Reckoning damage over time gimmick. And he seems to fit very, very well onto that team. His skills are fairly simplistic, but it is exactly what that team needed. So at least he makes a lot more sense than maybe the skills from the Gobta and Rimuru that came out last meta, where like one of their skills made sense, and the other one was kind of weird. But he is Wind, Magic, Sparkle of Youth, Fount of Wisdom, Shizu's Will, and Commander. Fount of Wisdom and Commander going to be a hard sell for him because he's very much a Green Orb character, and these two teams are blue focused primarily. Shizu's Will does not yet have a full team or protection character. He uses a book. He is, of course, a defense character because this is a defense meta. He has a support single target alt. And support alts for this team specifically really don't mean that much, because you typically don't want to send ults on this team. You're not looking to do traditional big-time nuking damage, so your extra 25, 50, 100% weakness strike doesn't really mean a lot. So he is just a single target that you're probably never going to use. His first skill is the kind of the same skill as Divine General Diablo, where it enables you to use a bunch of skills in the same turn over and over again, as long as you have points for it. And then he also gives every single color orb an extra 100% skill point increase. And we will show that on a team not focused on green orbs, as well as his actual team. And then his second skill is a unrestricted green orb change. So any two orbs can be changed to green. There is no color restriction, there is no force restriction, no element restriction. It's just, if you have two orbs that are not currently green, they will turn green. Could be two blues, two oranges, 1 and 1, doesn't matter. It's two orbs. And then he also adds 2 stacks of the Reckoning mechanic, which is what the team is built around. So orb change with Reckoning, plus the multi-use skill that we were already using Diablo for, extra skill points. He's gonna make the team run very efficiently, thank God. But like apart from that, I don't see him being used on a number of other teams, because, you know, while his orb change is cool, and while this skill is cool, only certain teams really need this. And the reason we use Diablo is because he's giving a 50% all gauge increase, not just skill points. But, you know, we'll try him out in a couple different scenarios, so let's just jump in. Alright, we're going to run him on this version of the Sparkle of Youth team. Masayuki, Lumi, Orb Changer, and Healer. Miran, Healer, Yuuki, Hinata, Shizu being on the team itself. This team will work very, very efficiently because we have a lot of orb changing now. Lumi converts, Yuuki converts, Shizu converts. We have the healing effect field from Hinata, so we're never going to take damage. And Yuuki, because he puts 2 stacks on and Hinata puts 2 stacks on, as long as we have points, we're going to look pretty good. So right here, I could use my skill fuse Lumi to convert that. I could use Shizu to convert that. But because Yuuki puts 2 stacks on, we're going to use his orb change because it's unrestricted. It's 2 blues, and I don't really care. And then we're going to use the multi-use skill, which doesn't do anything because we don't have points for anything else. But it's going to give us maximum points here on this full hand of greens now. So boom, there's that. We have now 2 stacks of the Reckoning effect. And then we'll just kind of send this. And, you know, we're capped out on points. That's the most important thing. We're capped out on points. We have access to Masayuki, which means that we actually have 250 skill points to pull from. And that works out fantastically well right here. I'm actually not going to use the other 2 characters. I'm just going to run with these 3, because it's going to work fairly well. So let's put the healing field on. Let's put 2 stacks on. Let's change 2 of the orbs. Let's put this on. Boom, boom, boom. So it's going to change and 2 of these orbs, whatever, I don't know which ones, but okay, those 2. That leaves us 2 blues again, which we know we can convert. We'll use Masayuki to reset everything. Okay, we don't need to watch that. Let me turn that off really fast. But I also have the AoE heal, which gives us more stacks. And then we've reset Yuuki down, so let's get another guaranteed, 100% skill point increase. Let's change these two more stacks, and now, because we've used his multi-use skill, we can use a whole bunch of these skills again. So Hinata gives us 2 stacks. Okay, well, let's do it. And then let's do it again. And let's do it for Yuki's orb change again. So now, because we used Yuki's multi-skill, we were able to add an extra 2, 6, 12, 18 stacks on, essentially. Right? 2, 4, 6, and then we did it 3 times. So yeah, we're already up to 16 stacks across the board for very little effort. And we're once again going to be capped out on points. The protection gauge on green increase from Hinata is coming into play. Obviously, we're capped, so the 100% skill point increase is coming in, which means that we're pretty much perpetually going to have 250 skill points to use. And you just do that over and over and over again. And even this hand where we have no green orbs, because we can use a bunch of orb changes again, it doesn't really matter all that much. So we're up to 22 stacks. So let's use the alt swap, let's use an orb change, let's use the healing field. So boom, that one will be green, and then 2 of those are green. Okay, fine. But then let's use Masayuki to once again reset, and now we've got access to minimum cost orb changes. And so even though we have 3, we can still use the multi-skill, Yuki's orb change now, and then we can just do it again. And again, and then let's use Hinata again. And, you can see how this runs very efficiently. His skills don't really look all that impressive because they're not doing a lot. It's not like Fern, where it's 200 or 100 up and 100 down, and then her second skill is 100 up and 100 up. Like, it's nothing like that. But as in terms of making this team operate and function smoothly, he's fantastic. And he's gonna work. Even if you don't have Masayuki and you have to run with free-to-play Carrion, like, it's gonna run really, really, really well. And so this hand, we have 2 alts and then 3 orbs that are not green. Okay, cool. We're up to... This is only turn 3, right? We have so many stacks already within 3 turns. And that's just from being able to use skills over and over and over again. And the plus side of using Yuuki over, say, Diablo, is that we're not gaining any extra ult gauge. Because Diablo is giving 50% to everything, including ult. This team is not really concerned about getting ult gauge. It's concerned about points and stacks. And Shizu only converts 2 ults. So the slower that we can get ults is the more green orbs we can send, which is more points. And it just makes everything run a lot better. So he is a mainstay for this team, as most meta characters should be. But I think over the past couple of months, we've seen a lot of characters that are maybe not as useful as I would like them to be on their own teams. Looking at you, Gobta Ranga hybrid fusion thing with your stupid Inspire gimmick, like, that made no sense. The Reamer that came out for Tournament Stalwart, his random rainbow orb change is unnecessary. Like, these 2 skills that Yuuki has are very necessary for the team. Very necessary. And they work very well. And so we're already over 160 stacks, which is wild. Because we haven't done anything with the 2 back units, like, at all. They just happen to exist in the back line. So... this is turn 5, so after we do whatever we need to do here, they're going to die, because 1, this is EX2, and they don't have 100 million HP like Inferno does. But it's not hard. It's not hard to see why Yuuki is very much well made for this specific team. It's just, I think, his problems are going to start becoming apparent when he's not on this team, especially when we're in fights that you cannot use the Reckoning gimmick at all. That, I think, is where problems are going to come in, and his usefulness will be not nearly as impactful. So 1, 2, 3... Actually, you know what? This is the Yuuki alt. Let's watch the Yuuki alt, and that way we can say that we got it in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. He's breakdancing to neon lights and stuff. Someone pointed it out on stream, and I agree. It looks very much like the Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight games, where he's just like a random anime thing, but they're just breakdancing and stuff. Very bright things. But you can see his damage is not meat, it's terrible. 20k. Ooh, whoop-de-doo. But there are no damage buffs on this team. We have just a butt ton of Reckoning stacks, and we're gonna get more. Like, we're very close to being capped out on all these characters already. 74, 66. Like, it only goes up to 99. It only goes up to 99, guys. So, 10 million damage right there on Reckoning on the first turn that it activates from only using 3 characters. It's pretty good. He's really got in his own team. Thank God for that. Now what happens when we take him off the team? Let's find out. Alright, just as a proof of concept, we're going to go into the Fount of Wisdom Chamber of Memory stage using a mostly traditional Fount of Wisdom just team, but we're just going to put Yuuki on, because I've heard people say it's like, oh, he could be really good for blue orb stacking teams for like the first couple of turns where you just don't get a lot of points, and it could make life a little bit easy. And also, this stage doesn't cleanse at all, so we can still make use of the Reckoning. So even though green orbs are nerfed, we're not really wanting to run a green orb team. We just happen to have Yuuki here. So, this is going to work, right? Because the nuking character is still going to be blue. He might just straight up die to the Reckoning by turn 8. I don't really know how many we're actually going to get out of it. But it is possible to make this work. So, turn 1, where we need to use an orb change. Okay, that's fine. So we'll bring Hinata in. We'll use her convert, and then we'll use the extra skill points here. Because normally we'd get like 53 skill points off a full hand of blue. It's awful. But now, with an extra 100%, it's essentially mimicking 1 stack of Diablo already. So we're going to make back quite a few more points. Yeah, 101. Almost double what we would traditionally get. And 106 points means that we can potentially orb change out of some not so great scenarios. That one actually is pretty good. But here, like if we were to use Albus and Rimuru, we'd need 50 points and we would have like 4 left over. But now it doesn't really matter. So boom and boom. But I also want to use another maybe Yuuki here for funsy onesies. Just because we can get 200% essentially. So let's do that. And then let's use Diablo. So now the blue orbs are going to be at 200%. We don't need to watch that. We can turn this off now. And so it's pretty much up until we get to 500. It's mimicking like we just have an extra stack worth of points coming in, which is great. It just means that life is very easy for us. And since Diablo is a horrible stacking protector, we can cap out very easily. It's not like a current like EXU stacking blue. But this turn is legitimately just bad. Would we have had enough points on turn 3 to convert this hand? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. 45, 25, or 45, 45, and 45. I kind of seriously doubt that in a normal scenario where I don't have Yuuki, I would have enough points to do all 3 of these converts to convert this entire hand. So it did save us a little bit. So I do see the use in it. What I don't really see right now is anything else. So you know what? I kind of want to do this instead. Let's do the Yuuki skill, and then let's use his convert. So we're going to put 6 stacks of Reckoning on, and then let's simply do it again. So even though greens are technically nerfed, we're not going to get a lot of protection gauge here, but we're going to make back probably at least a small amount of skill points. 87, yeah, it's not bad. But we've also put 12 stacks of Reckoning on, which in 2 more turns will actually probably cut Yamza's health down by a fair amount, because he doesn't have a lot of health to begin with. So we can find a use for it here and there if your objective is to simply kill, and the enemy does not have some sort of cleanse mechanic. So here, I don't really want to use him anymore. I think once you get deeper into the fight where your blue orb's now giving you more than enough skill points, he becomes a lot less impactful, but he definitely did help out during that early phase. And so if you're running a traditional blue team, because that's your only team you have or whatever, and you magically pull Yuuki by the skin of your teeth, like, he can go on the team. He can definitely help you out for the first couple of turns, and the Reckoning in another turn will probably do a significant amount of damage to Yamza. even though he's got some defense and he's lowering our attack and our HP is slowly going down. But this is the final turn, and this is just an awful hand, actually. Jesus Christ. Wow. Hey, I just want to kill. Let's just do it again. Orb change. So it's 2 of these oranges gone, and let's do the green buff for skill points. Okay, and then we can do it another time. And I don't really care about nuking. I just want to win. Maybe my team's a bit underpowered and Yamza kills me before I can ever get to a nuke turn. The greens are no longer nerfed, actually, so that's even better. So we'll make back a lot of skill points here. Yeah, 120. Alright, and then Hinata, whatever, 112k. And now we have an extra 12 stacks of Reckoning, and he might just die, actually. Like, he legitimately might just die here. Let's find out. 24 stacks. Just about. I mean, we could literally sit here and do nothing, and we would kill. Let's just send 1 orb. And then we're just going to watch him kill himself, or just watch him slowly keel over to 653,000 damage from his, like, 1.4 million pool or something like that. So, yeah, he can work. It's not going to be like a try-hard Jubilee max stat kind of thing. But if you need just a solid 5th character to put on a team, like, he does make sense, right? So some of these, maybe you're, again, like a newer player, you're having trouble clearing some of the later chapter story quests because your team just strictly isn't strong enough. Your nukes aren't doing enough damage. You don't have enough skill points because you don't have enough skill enhancements, so your skills cost a bit extra. Yuuki can kind of help you with that and be a solid asset to just straight up just killing one of these bosses like Isis. You know, 153k isn't a lot for me, but looking at all this stuff, like, a newer player definitely would have trouble with this. And so by having Yuuki with the Reckoning to fall back on, if your traditional nukes or your just HP pools aren't very high, if you can just last 5 turns, she's gonna die to even 6 stacks of Reckoning. So, definitely usable. Not top tier viable, but you can put him on other teams and he can at least put in some kind of work. Okay, the final test is going to be a Burst Blue team, or what would traditionally be a Burst Blue team. The Summer Memories team. So Trainee, Lumi, Milim, and then because Blue Burst teams generally suffer from not a lot of SP, they're just not very good at it. We're going to see if we can make Yuuki kind of make it work by bringing 2 very high cost units, Diablo and Rimuru, because they do have an attack seal on turn 4 right here, and that prevents you from using like your skills unless you play around with it. So let's see if we can force Milim to get her ult quickly, and then we could try and use the extra skill points to maybe get some big time buffs before that seal actually procs. Alright, so Rimuru is going to be our turn 1 orb changer because he's skill fused and he could change any 2. We're going to use Yuki's extra 100 skill points right here. So that means that we're going to have a nice little nest egg of points to pull from next turn. So let's do this the smart way. We'll leave Milim in the back so she can just steal a bunch of orbs, but we'll use Rimuru's Convert right here. And this will give us, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 101 skill points. And because Trainee is an old protector, she doesn't give us 30 every turn. We have to use her, and she will give us 40 points upon activation. She also gives us the future hand of blue orbs. So, like this, we can't, like, Trainee with these orbs isn't going to do anything. We're going to see her effect next turn on turn 3. So because we have that extra 100 points, this allows us to use another orb change from Rimuru, which is exactly what we need. And then we can use another one of this for another extra 100% skill points. And then we can bring Milim in for Yuuki, I guess. And then we can use her Orb Steal, which takes all of the blues away. And now we're going to use Trainee. Lowers her defense, which is inconsequential. Trainee's hot, so we'll watch this. But 40 skill points means that we have access to another skill, which is going to be the Enamor from Lumi, which gives blues extra damage, alongside extra skill points, alongside having a whole bunch of Millimorbs that are giving extra gauge or ult gauge to her. So this is, this is probably one of his best use cases. And then if we can get her ult fairly quickly, we can then go ahead and use some of the big time buffs early, or at least before we get to the nuke, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're going to have Future Hand of Blues across the board. So we're looking good there. So now we have an alt. But I don't have an alt swapper. That's kind of unfortunate. Okay. Who was... well, no, it shouldn't actually matter here, because we can Enamor. So we'll get that back, and then we can simply steal some orbs here. And so while Yuuki isn't going to do anything for our actual nuking damage, he's still going to make it work to a point that it's still slightly viable. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That won't get us it, but we can do another Enamor over here. Boom. Okay. And then we can just send these 5 orbs, and I think we should be good there. And then do we use Yuuki again? Because we're only getting 30 there. It's going to cost 40, but we're going to make back quite a bit. I think we do. Let's do it one more time. Kind of expensive. We're kind of cutting into our skill points, but this is kind of necessary because we're going to get sick. Well, didn't we actually make anything back? Not really. Oh, right. I forgot she got EX Unbound. Okay, well, that's cool. Fine. Sure, whatever. So turn 4, we should get the EX ult from the 2 Enamor skills, and then we need to do something next turn. So this should give us, yep, perfect, 87 points, which is actually 120, because we have training, and we're going to do this, and we're going to buff the AoE attack. That's the charm we have. I could have used like a skill point charm on blues to help us out with this problem, but I intentionally wanted to just go based off of Yuuki. So let's do this. Boom. Now we've got the physical buff. We've got the dark buff still. So let's bring Summer Lumi in. And now we've got a full hand of blues. So we're going to send this. And then hopefully next turn we will have enough points and probably a double of training to actually use Diablo's skill. And since he's in the back, we can avoid that that debuff. So, I mean, does it work here? Oh my god. Technically, yes, it does. Are you kidding me right now? Okay, well, whatever. We still have enough points to do it. The 40 plus the 90. Man, I really wish we had that double stack right there. Okay. So turn 5 kicks in. There's a defense seal. There's the attack seal. Doesn't hit Diablo. We've already used Rimuru's skill, so we're not worried about him being sealed anymore. And now Milim can just go ahead and nuke, essentially. So let's yeah, we were just a tiny bit shy right there. Unfortunate that happened. Okay, well, I'm fairly certain that Milim's going to be able to kill anyways. So let's take you out. Boom. Let's bring Diablo in for Summer Lumi, since we're not going to use her buff. We're going to use the much better synergy buff. Boom. And we would have 45 points, and it costs 55 to use Lumi. So nothing we can do about it. But, I mean, did Yuuki help this team? Sure. Would it have still run fine without him? Yeah, probably, because we could have just put Diablo in the back and used the skill. So I don't really think we gained that much out of it. But, you know, it's definitely useful. And we didn't use any of his Reckoning skills here. And we could have, because they also don't have a cleanse. But let's just do this, and yeah, look at that. There we go. Does it work? Yeah. Are there better options to put on the team instead of trying to force Yuuki onto there? Also, yeah. So, like, you can. Should you? Is a debatable question. But at least we know that he does work a little bit. So I think we're going to end the showcase there. You can fire and forget with Yuuki, like, you can put him on a team and run him, and he'll do stuff for you. Not the best of case scenario for every team, but he certainly can bring some kind of objective value, even if it's not the best kind of value. But he's fine, and obviously he works very well on his own meta, which thank God for that, because again, some characters cannot say the same thing about their skills. But he's still a very skippable character. He will come back in future banners sometime when they decide to start rerunning EX units, or EX Unbound characters, but very skippable nonetheless. But let me know what you guys think about this new Yuuki. Am I underselling him? Am I giving him too much credit? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, but that's it from me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.